Well, hello, friends. Welcome to the Ladybird browser update for April 2025. It has been a lovely month in the project, as usual. No conferences this month, just been working on the browser, which is good. So let's take a look at what we've been doing. First thing we always do, of course, is thank our sponsors. Ladybird is entirely funded by donations and sponsorships from individuals and companies that care about the open web and want us to build an independent implementation of it. And these are our major sponsors that we have here. So thank you all for supporting the project. Okay, so in April, in terms of numbers, we had 288 pull requests from 36 contributors. So I think we had a few more pull requests than the last month, but a few fewer contributors. But these numbers, they go up and down. In general, this is really good pace. And another number we'd like to look at is the web platform tests. So in April, we added 17,214 new passing tests, which is really good, actually. I think we only had like 8,000 new passing tests last month, but this month, more people helped out and we had more of a focused effort. So it's really good. And we're now passing 1,799,262 tests. So we're really close to the 1.8 million passing test mark, which is coming next month, which is going to be awesome. And of course, let's look at this in the context of the 6 top engines that are tracking their web platform tests. So this is at the end of last month, and this is what it looks like at the end of April. So if I toggle back and forth, you can see that Ladybird and Servo are making progress while everybody else kind of just chilling. But Flow has put out a new version. So let me show you what it looks like if we run Flow 7. Boom. So this should be coming up in next month's chart. But so far, at the end of the month, they were not publishing Flow 7 results at the WPT dashboard. But next month they will be for sure. So web platform tests famously has a lot of Chinese, Japanese, Korean text encoding stuff. And if we subtract that, the test results get a little easier to look at. So here's the same thing again, just text encoding subtracted. So we can see that there's actually a little bit of motion in the top 3 browsers as well. But Ladybird and Servo making the greatest strides. And of course, if we pop in Flow 7, then they are leapfrogging us, which is fantastic. Having a bit of competition in the race to catch up with the top 3 is awesome. So we're really happy that Flow is putting out a new version that passes more tests. Cool. So in April, we've been doing a bunch of performance work because performance is one of our main weak points, I would say. And we wanted to spend some real effort on improving it. And we've been using browserbench.org, which is a suite of benchmarks that Apple made originally, and now other browsers have contributed to as well. And the main test that we're focusing on right now is a speedometer, which is a DOM responsiveness and performance test that uses real JavaScript frameworks. And we've been putting in a bunch of effort fixing all kinds of things to make this faster. And we've been using both version 2.1 and 3.1. So they are sort of 10 years apart almost in releases. Just good to test with both in case you're missing anything that you could make faster. So as you can see here, the blue is March and the green is April. So we've advanced the score quite nicely here. And for version 3, we advanced the score quite nicely as well. And it's important to know that all the major browsers are like 10 times faster than us. So it's not yet super interesting to compare against those, but this allows us to see that we are making incremental progress by identifying and eliminating various slownesses, let's say. And so I wanted to show you a bit more about some of the optimizations that we've been doing. So first one, I want to talk about JavaScript function calls, because we identified that function call performance is a huge problem on Speedometer. And so I wanted to describe to you first how the original flow of a JavaScript function call was last month. And then I'll tell you how the new flow works as well. So originally, what would happen when you perform a function call is that we would invoke the function's call slot, slot in the sense of the JavaScript specification. And this call slot would then allocate an execution context using malloc. It would allocate temporary register storage using malloc, and it would allocate argument storage using malloc. It would then clear out all these temporary registers, copy arguments, function arguments into the temporary registers, and then run the function code. So this was not good for performance. We had like multiple malloc allocations happening and a bunch of memory being cleared multiple times. And so the new flow looks like this instead. First, we start by allocating the execution context on the stack. Then you allocate temporary registers on the stack and allocate space for arguments on the stack. So no malloc allocations whatsoever. And then we clear the temporary registers and invoke the function call slot. The function call slot then just runs the function code. And this ends up working a lot better because by preparing everything before we invoke the function call slot, that allows the function caller to prepare the execution context and the stack frame for the callee, and it can just put everything in the right place, like the arguments and everything that needs to be in a certain location before the callee code starts executing. So a lot less work here, and we made some micro benchmarks just to test how much faster we could make this. So here is the one I was using. This is just calling a simple function with 4 arguments in a loop 50 million times. And here is how performance improved. So the blue bars are a month ago, and the green bars are today. And we have the number of arguments. So 0 arguments, 1 argument, 4 arguments, and 16 arguments. And as you can see, we are more than twice as fast in all these cases, which is really, really good. And this made a substantial impact on the speedometer score as well. There are still some things to do here where we can squeeze out more performance, but we've taken care of most of the low-hanging fruit we could identify at least. Okay, and another thing that also helped speedometer greatly was in layout. So I made a Flexbox layout optimization that I wanted to describe to you. So I realized that flex items with min-width auto are very expensive, and or it could be min-height auto in a column layout, of course. And auto is the default value of these properties, so it's very, very commonly auto. And why is this a problem? Well, if you have a flex container like this and you put a bunch of items in it, the foo and the bar items here fit just fine, but the blah, blah, blah item is too large. Like, it continues outside of the flex container. And so this is the part where we have to like compress them or flex them into position. And in order to compress the red item here, we have to figure out like what is the smallest size that we would be allowed to compress it to. And we do that by calculating how wide does this have to be. And it's this thing called min content width intrinsic size determination. We determine the min content width. And in this case, it's like how wide it has to be so that the widest word can fit. And we do this for every flex item, just so that we have this automatic value for min-width auto. And in this case, after we've calculated that, then we see like, okay, well, this is how small it could be minimum. And then we end up doing this, right? So this is the size it ends up with. But the interesting thing here is that after we've done this for every flex item in this layout, um, if the layout looks like this, for example, it's not necessary to figure out the minimum content width of any of these things because we have more space than we need. And so after I realized this, the optimization became, okay, let's just avoid the min content intrinsic size determination in case we have more space than we need. And it turns out this is a super common case on the web where you have these flex layouts that have space in the container, more space than necessary in the container for all the flex items. There's no need to calculate the automatic content width or automatic minimum width. And it allows us to skip a bunch of work. So I hope that makes sense. It's a little bit more complicated when you look at the algorithm, but in essence, this is what it is. Like just skipping size determination if there's already enough space in the flex container. Another optimization, or which is also kind of a correctness fix, is script blocking CSS. So JavaScript execution can now wait for essential CSS to be downloaded. This prevents premature layout work because previously we would just run JavaScript and then something in the JavaScript would like query the offset width of an element or query computed style. And we would have to perform layout in order to answer questions, but we didn't have all the necessary CSS. So we would give you sort of, we would do premature layout work without all the right style. And we would even get glitches because we would have incorrect metrics due to missing style. And so fixing this just makes it faster and correcter. So that's fantastic. And it really helps Speedometer as well, because there were a lot of instances where we would run a bunch of scripts and then the CSS would finish downloading and then we would have to relay out everything again. And that initial layout pass was completely wasted work. Okay, so something cool that we got working this month was the 3D view in Google Maps. And it doesn't work reliably on my machine. I don't get the 3D view, but Alex gets it where he is. So I can show you this video that he recorded of just zooming in and panning around a little bit in the 3D view. This is rendering with WebGL. You can see that the various objects on the map are sort of 3D geometry, which is really cool. Okay, so something else we did is dialog backdrops. So we now have the backdrop pseudo element, which allows you to style the sort of thing that it's this is overlay that happens underneath a dialog. So I guess it's an underlay. And now you can style it. So here's an example from our own settings UI where there's this like darkening overlay, just shading the background a little bit so that the dialogue that's up with languages pops better against the background. Very, very nice. We've also implemented a new mechanism from the DOM spec called state-preserving atomic DOM moves. It is a new API called move before, which is like insert before, but different in a very important way because iframes don't reload, animations don't restart, focus and selection are not disturbed, and there are various other things as well. So essentially, it allows you to take a DOM element from anywhere in the tree, put it somewhere else in the tree, and previously, the only way to do this would be to remove it and reinsert it, and that could cause all kinds of reloading to occur, and like you would be in a weird state. And with the move before API, we maintain the state. So it's much more seamless, which is super cool. And there's been a bunch of other good stuff as well, like we've implemented the URL pattern spec. We have increased IndexedDB support, which is really, really cool, and improvements to the Streams API as well. So a lot of interesting activity. And now I want to give you a little demo of the browser so you can see where it's at today. Okay, so today we're going to do a slightly different demo. I'm just going to ask my wife to give me websites, and then we will open them in Ladybird and see how we do. So do you want to go ahead and tell me a URL? themoodguide.com. Okay. So now instead of visiting sponsors, we are just trying random wife websites, I suppose. The mood guide is loading nicely. I get the feeling that the layout is a little broken here, but it does load. It scrolls with nice performance. That is good. There's a little bit of a effect going on. Yeah, we're gonna have to look into this one, but I would say usable. What else you got? Paperblanks.com. Okay. Celebrating creativity, expression, and moments. All right. Paper blanks. Not gonna subscribe, but I'm okay with the cookies. Okay, this actually looks really nice. It loads beautifully, scrolls responsibly. I have free shipping on orders over 40 euros. Maybe I should purchase something. Can you get something purple on here? No products found if I search for purple. All right, well, screw it. What else you got? Filofax.com. Okay. Okay, my location is set to Sweden. I guess that's fine. I will allow them to transfer me to a Swedish representative. Okay, so this is some kind of web store for buying filofaxes. Sure. I'm looking for an organizer or clipbook refill. I feel like there's a mix of English and Swedish language here. I don't know if that's our fault or something going on with the site. But, oh my God, there's so many pop-ups. Again, I don't know if that's us or the site. Feels like the site really wants to offer me discounts. But this actually looks pretty damn good and really responsive, so that's cool. You got any more sites? Fragrantica. Okay. I think I've actually shown that one before in update video. Because we had worked on it at some point because you complained about the performance. Okay, so what's a perfume I should search for? Pure Poison. All right, let's try that out. The search feature might be a little screwy. Dang it. Okay, we're gonna have to fix that. Pure. They're complaining about my ad blocker. I'm sorry, Fragrantica. And I can't close the complaint. All right. Did you have any more websites? Tradera. Okay, so Tradera is like the Swedish eBay. Maybe even owned by eBay these days. So tell me a product I should search for. A brush? Oh my God, what's that in Swedish? Brosch. Okay, that's not a word I use every day, but let's search for it. I don't know if the search actually worked. Oh, here we go. They are telling me that this version of the web browser is no longer supported. Please update Ladybird to ensure that the site works correctly. I'm finding some beautiful flamingo brooches here. And some Garfield brooches. Pretty nice. Okay, that's pretty good. It's cool that this works, though. I wonder if like the whole thing would work. Can I actually buy a brooch? What if I wanted to buy this Garfield brooch set? I hear a lasagna calling my name. 25 kroner. Can I bid on it? No, I don't want to see the back of the brooch. These are not really brooches, they're pins. Okay, so there seems to be some clicking issue here. If I click on bid, it actually just pops open a larger picture from the back side of the item. So we have some issues here, but still pretty good performance. Okay. Did you have any more sites for me? Oh, Joe, one more. Okay. Floralinea.se. Okay. Swedish grown roses of the highest quality, selected for you. Nice. Okay. So this seems to load, although the photos of the roses, they popped in and then they disappeared again. So something is not quite right. The Queen of Sweden is one flower I can buy here. Ooh, we crashed. Dang it. All right. Why did we crash? Well, I'm not going to investigate that now. Okay. Oh, and there goes the whole browser process. Well, just in time for the end of the demo. Thank you so much for the the random websites. Really appreciate that. We certainly managed to find a number of bugs and some crashes. So we have stuff to do for next month. All right. Okay, now before we go, I want to thank everybody who contributed to Ladybird in April. So this is a list of everyone who had some kind of Git commit in the repository in April. Thank you all so much for working on the browser with us. This is awesome. I love it. I hope you're having a good time contributing to the project as well. And thank you, the viewer of this video, for staying up to date with the project, for checking this out. If you're interested in becoming a browser developer, come hang out with us on Discord. See if we're working on something you might be interested in. And if you're interested in sponsoring the project, check out ladybird.org for more information. All right. See you next time.